Namaskar, good morning. This is Suraj Singh, civil engineer, Bharat, India, and my continuation of episode serial field engineering, building practice, whatever you may call it. This is our country and civil engineers work for whole world. Civil engineering, dear friends, this is Suraj Singh, international professional engineer, registered with IEI and civil engineer, chartered engineer, buildings, oil, etc. This series, field engineering, is designed for meeting requirements of those engineers, foremen, site guys who work a lot in all weather conditions. They may get what they need or they may not get what they need, but their services are always required in normal economical times. This is not time for economy, but time shall come. So everyone requires to be ready to meet those timings. Buildings and other structures which are constructed, produced all over the world, here or there. Public expects civil engineers or civil engineering staff, construction staff, design staff to deliver services which are very significant because it's long-term product. It's not a product for 1 year or 2 year or 3 years. You cannot say that is a temporary product or preparatory product. It's a product that moves the works for service, provides service for hundreds of years. Structures, not you can say very. It cannot be taken like a computer or television or some other electronic equipment that we have to replace within 2 years or 3 years, not mobile phone. It is a structure that is produced from natural materials, natural resources, and engineers must understand what they are doing. They are not doing film, they are not doing something for entertainment. They are spending money, public money or others' money to convert natural resources into resources that are useful for society, for human being in all sphere of lives, without which there is no way to live. If they do not do that, if engineers and engineering staff, construction staff, they don't work like that with sacrifices, forests cannot be converted, deserts cannot be converted to cities, deserts cannot be converted to industries, deserts cannot be converted to factories, and life cannot move. It may be small country or may be big country. Every country requires development, requires economical boom, and that is possible only when life moves. We start from scratch and deliver final product. We also renovate a product. We also develop a product. Both brownfield and greenfield are done. Greenfield from scrap and brownfield from existing one to reshape one. That is what job of this raw community. I call it raw community because civil engineering and construction staff are actually not that decent in the sense of shosha. They are real people, real workers who actually work behind scenes, and general public is not able to access to them directly because of so many security and professional reasons. Doctors are accessible, advocates are accessible, and all others accessible except this community, this professional, you can say workers, these professional workers who work in sun, in heat, in thunderstorm, in rain, in dust storm. All weather conditions are suitable to them. Sometimes they eat in unhygienic conditions. It happens. They reside in unhygienic conditions. This happens. But what to do? No way out. If you want to produce something, you have to sacrifice. That tendency this community has, and that way I respect this community, and not because I am civil, just not that way. Keeping in view sacrifices what this community makes, what this group of people makes in comparison to all others. Doctors work, of course, they have different type of working nature. Nature of working completely different. People access to them in general. but people don't access to ourselves. We are different. We live whole life of project, sometimes at project sites or in campsites, not in homes. Workers live like very difficult. Their living is very difficult. Engineers don't have family connections in those days when they are on sites and projects. So there are so many, you can say, comparative differences which this community, but society does not know that. Problem is certain information lapses, dissemination of information is not done, facts are not told, and that creates problem. But I'm not going to deliver talk on that. This is this has been there since what's started, since you can say building started, so go to hundreds of years back. Sacrifices were made, and still today, if these workers do not work, of course, they are not very highly profiled professional workers. They are traders, they are tradesmen by their profession, by their occupation, by their sometimes inherited values. They work. They are not experts in a sense that they can meet quality criteria for which they require engineers, supervisors, and all others who direct them to do work. Engineering is not simply academical education. Engineering is academics in beginning, but engineering and particularly civil, electrical, mechanical, I'm talking other engineerings because other engineers are not basic engineerings. Basic engineerings are civil, electrical, and mechanical in current society, because without these nothing can move. You cannot even enter a building. Building cannot give service, and if building service is required, means building is required, and if there is no building, nothing can move. So you have to stay in jungle, in forest, and in desert life. So I am just informing you to consider that engineering is not a football or cricket game. It's a hard life game. It's highly thinking game. Those who work in engineering and designs, those are called design engineers, and those others are called construction engineers or field engineers. Both work for society. Design is also not so easy as we think. Actually, people do not know what design is, except those who are either educated or those who understand this. Design of engineering products, engineering projects is very complicated and difficult route. Of course, we have softwares, but softwares are not human wares. Softwares are not mind wares. Softwares cannot think by themselves. We have to use them. Softwares are only tools. So it has to be said that engineering mind should be very receptive, very active, interactive, coordinative, and strong. It should be strong to think easiest, buildable, and durable structures. It should be simple structure that mind gives. And for that, construction should also be simple. If your design is easily constructible, I mean to say buildable, and it can be easily done, this means construction can be easy. And when work is easy, you can get quality in a better way. Quality, safety, durability, all criteria are there. Reliability, we say, reliability of project. Reliability means it should be safe, it should give service, and it should move, it should serve for designed life of project or intended life of project, which can be 20, 10 years for temporary or works, and it can increase to furthermore for other works, say 50 years, 100 years, or 120 years, depending upon what sort of work it is, because there have been structures which have been there for centuries, so we cannot exclude that criteria. My talk is meant for how to work and how to work in field. I am not talking about design in this case, because design is something else which requires complete detailed studies of codes, methods, procedures, which people are not known about. I talk to many people, but they don't understand. Okay, you consider this also, you consider this also. I tell them what you see on sites and projects, that is not actual engineering. That is only construction engineering. That's only prosecution engineering. Real engineering lies on back of that, which only able people can do. Those people who have brilliance, who have ideas, apart from academic qualification, they can do that. We have to understand that point. Engineering is not a term. It's not a word only. Engineering is a philosophy, how you think about projects, how you think about structures. It's not just, you can say, a theory. No, it's not theory alone. It's a way you think, you dream it. You dream what you want to see. Then you have to realize that dream, considering material, considering theory, considering many other actionable loads, considering many other points, how people shall live in this, how environment will impact on that, how earthquake shall impact on that, will impact on that. There are so many actions, so many loads on that. So that is very complicated field. This involves hundreds of acts. In whatever acts, our country act or some other country act, national or international acts, so many feedbacks are there, so many resources are there, references are there, which are taken into consideration. And that also applies to building or construction field. Construction field is not simply conversion of drawing into physical, but it requires complete knowledge of drawings, complete knowledge of specifications, complete knowledge of procedures and methods, and complete knowledge of human relations, administration, and you can say technicalities of how to work. That requires total specifications, codal specifications, and experience, background of engineer, supervising staff, consultants staff, and whole worker, total workers. Whatever workers from civil construction, from material arrangements, and from services, sub supports, and then furthermore all other supports. This is a gross network. It depends upon what sort of project is that. It depends upon, it is building project, it is oil project, or it is road project, or bridge project, or railway project, or water resources project, or infrastructure public health engineering project, or else whatever blah 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 you can say. So my only purpose is not to explain all this, but just to create a background, just to make a background of what I want to think, because without designs and without field work, project cannot be realized, and engineering means project should be delivered. That is very important point. If project cannot be delivered, there is no meaning of design, it goes waste. Design can be excellent. It depends upon engineering designer, how that person thinks or a team thinks. That excellent design can further give excellence in construction if it is done accordingly. And if it is done not in a way it should be done, then it can result in destruction, devastation of materials and resources, material, workers, time, money, all to, you can say, substandard delivery of materials, substandard production, and that results in wastage of design effort also. So wastage of time of humanity, human resources, material resources, and all other resources. So it is very important for engineers that they have to train themselves. Nobody can train you. Listen, engineers and supervisors, no one can train you in world, because there is no such platform that can train you. There may be skill centers, development centers, and all that. And there may be some internship as well these days, but that doesn't mean anything, because those who are with you, who are supervising you, who are directing you, must also know work first. Just keeping yourself on role of internship doesn't mean that you understand something. I have met many engineers. I can consider myself also same. I don't know everything. I cannot say. I know everything, I cannot say. It depends upon in what environment you worked, you experienced, and what degree of interest you took in that. Sometimes we think that I'm doing job, I'll just work 10 hours, 12 hours and my job is over. If you think that way, then you cannot become an engineer whole life. You may be having 50 years experience, 40 years experience. If your contemplation was that, you can never be an engineer. Cannot be called an engineer. And if your contemplation is different, you do not relate your work to money achievement, money earning. You think that engineering is a profession of, as just like you consider your religion, you can learn a lot because learning has no end. Your continuous professional development can make itself a mountain if you keep moving further and further and further, learning, updating, and making you yourself teacher. That way you can learn. If you in measure your work into what money you get, you will never be successful because that negative mechanism will keep you pinching all time. And I think that is only negativation that people leave engineering and go to management or software engineering. And there's a drop in civil engineering all over the world. People are not interested to do civil engineering and later on not to do, you consider mechanical or electrical engineering, because this engineering will not help you make money, and people are interested to make money. And those who are mechanical engineers, they may opt for some mechanical business and they keep themselves busy in that kind of production or whatever. They adopt that. Basic engineering goes away, production engineering goes away. Similarly, it happens in electrical, and major part happens in civil. In civil, scope is generally on projects, and projects are controlled either by big people, big companies, or by governments, state. Well, I'm just trying to tell you where we are losing, why there's a drop in interest to work on civil engineering or building engineering or resources engineering or all that, because money is not earned. And current requirement is you should have money if you want to live. Money criteria stops scientific and engineering development, but I'm not responsible for that, and you too are not responsible for that. Whole system is like that. If there is budget, projects can be charted out to explode, and if there is no budget, nothing can happen. People these days are running away from civil engineering in all promotions because people are interested how to make money, how to upgrade your economy. That is required. Well, in last talk, I was referring to various various topics, various you can say activities that people on site work and engineers on that work, and that was very you can say I wrote a book in 1992 to 96, and that book was released in 96. Of course, that book has not received very welcome, you can say, sign in field, but in 92 you think what sort of book you can produce, because of such facilities as we have today were not available in those days. Yet I did my best at that time by whatever knowledge I had, whatever smallest engineering I could understand based on my academic qualification and field experience. I tried to write, to project it, to communicate to engineering community and those supervisory community. But I found one thing, that whole world is not interested in reading documents. They were not interested in upgrading their knowledge. My purpose was not to earn money on that, just to, because I found difficulties in the field. I could not find any support from those who work in field, either engineering positions or in non-engineering positions, means field positions. I got a support. I just tried to learn from what was happening on site, how people used to work, what artisans used to work, and how those people who came to check or examine or test that one, how they conducted. Based on that, I wrote something for purpose of those who come at fees, who come from college, universities. But I think it's first of all very difficult to publish this book because all publishers are interested in those books which are written by professors or highest academicians, so that their books are sold. Because academics, teachers and professors write just what is given program of that degree or diploma. They do not go beyond that because they cannot. They don't have field experience or practicality, or they are not as engineers. What I say, if you keep that factor, commercial factor into your mind, you cannot write books and publish them. And I don't find publishers who are charity people or successful who take risks. So I just thought that I wasted my time. But when this medium has come, internet medium has come, we have some privilege. We can use this medium for dissemination so that standards of engineering construction may improve, design may improve. It can be done only, means you cannot do more than that. So I just try to write that long back, and I think that may not be very much relevant, but still information is very, you can say, reliable. Now, when I was in my job in 1985-86 somewhere in Doha, I used to work with British consultants and many nationalities, all nationalities. You can say I worked about more than 50 nationalities. I got some kind of different types of experiences and activities and procedures, how work was done based on those countries, nations, specifications like Qatar national specifications, civil specifications, and international codes, British code, American code, and procedures, all those. So I could get something from that. Different type of, I found a difference there, what used to work here in government or in other sectors in Bharat, India, and how we worked there. There was a difference of understanding. Engineering was understood as engineering and construction was professional construction. Contractors were respected and professionals. Contractors were there, not simply contractor, we call thekedar here. There was no thekedar as such in those countries, but real construction. Specifications were followed to a possible extent. Design specification, field specifications, construction, and maintenance specifications, all those were followed, and contracts were designed as if this were also pro both sides, both promoter and contractor. So I got some new thing from there, some new update from there, and I felt pleased that I didn't make a mistake leaving this country, because here people do not believe in work, people don't believe in quality, people don't anything. I used to control there as I was in that site agent or representative of company that held all responsibilities of that project from scrap to final, including financial, including quality, including safety, and including all administration. That kind of work in ISO 9000 in quality system has been, you can say, transferred to many sections. Now there's a construction sections, design sections, or department, you can say design department, project department, commercial department, procurement department, quality department, safety department, and many departments, planning department, for example. So there are so many professionals on major projects, mega projects are employed, who work for each department, which was done by simple agent in those days in 80s and 90s. Well, it's time, change is time. You can't avoid that. Details run up, and you have to run details and and you can say you have to elaborate everything from project engineering point of view. So project engineering is very big now. It's not small. It's just means it has invited, it has imported into itself disciplinary and non-disciplinary staff. There are quality people, though quality is an engineering purpose, but I have seen generally high profile engineers are not recruited in quality. We can say SAMI are recruited in designs, high quality people, high academic people are recruited, and in you can say management positions of construction engineering, generally senior engineers are recruited. Of course, some prefer for project PMA, PMP, or you can say MBAs, but those people have not been successful in running projects because these projects are engineering based, technical based, and MBA is not a technical or engineering qualification. Similarly, PMP has failed, in fact, to meet, to cater for professional engineering requirement. So best is those people who are professional engineers, who are chartered engineers. Such type of people in varying degree of experiences are best suited if they have relevant experience, and that is what is required. And for having that relevant experience, you have to know what's happening in the field. You have to think how can you do. Thinking is very important. Thinking means not philosophical thinking, current thinking, practical thinking, how you can do job. And even if you are a structural engineer, design engineer, you should be a thinker that way, that you are doing a job. What what types of problems can you have in field to keep yourself in position of field engineer, being a design engineer, and you see what difficulties that engineer may face. And if you can realize that, and if you are not able to realize, you can have interaction, talk with those engineers who are in field, and you accordingly design so that minimum problems are met on site to an extent build ability or construction ability is concerned. And then those people who are in field, they have to think how can they do job best with minimum efforts and minimum time, so that savings can be made of savings of material, savings of resources, human resources, time, and mean no loss of material, keeping in view what details of specifications are applicable. That type of thought must be developed, and how can you get benefit of that, how can you do best work. That is means a kind of statement, a kind of method you must adopt, design, draw on activities as well as on whole project. My aim is just to interact with you that what should be done. In last talk I did, and this I was talking about buildings, civil engineering building projects, and I discussed with you building practice and to conceive or visualize of an idea, to the technicalities, carrying work on site, commissioning and testing and commissioning. And I just discussed that there are 4 classes, and these classes I explained to you. And I moved on to explain to you about procedures of composition of documents, which was preparation of BOQs, building specifications, tender documents, shortlisting, pre-qualifications, tendering, bidding, etc. And then preparation of various BOQs, preparation of various building specifications, and conversion of these documents to tender documents, and further shortlisting of tenders, applications, and voting tenders, closing scrutiny and negotiations, and then tender bond or bid bond, followed by site handover, commencement of construction, supervision and control till practical completion of contract, complete clearance, site clearance by various agencies working on, and then some coordinations that were, like you can say, architectural structural coordination, structural mechanical coordination, electrical mechanical coordination, structural finishes electrical coordination, structural plumbing and drainage coordination, services finishes coordination, then external services external works coordination, then services license to the statutory bodies coordination, structural coordination, and then was about liaison, which was a main contractor subcontractor license, subcontractors through main contractor license, a main contractor consultants group and engineer license, contractor other contractors are working in same site license, the main contractor engineer license, and main contractor local statutory policy. And then I just talked as an organization chart and like train, and I explained about what agent should do. In agent's responsibility I enlisted one, and that was what agents must do in those days, though it has been now bifurcated, trifurcated, it was that maintaining a site diary, then daily report submittal, material submittals, shop and working dry submittals, weekly programs, quarterly programs, complete programs, revised programs, monthly progress report, monthly technical and coordination meeting, monthly technical and coordination meeting internal for contractors, general meetings, a special and instant meeting, site memorandum, site instructions, engineers instructions, Valuations of our completed works, subcontractors' valuations, reflected ceiling plans, as-built report drawings, requests for inspections, test reports, complete board records, material test records, material status schedules, the drawing status schedules, the complete coordination and relation related to all services that I just had explained to you about that. And this list is there. Maybe you cannot see from here, but just for information, I'm giving this list is there. Now you can get this information, and this is useful for day-to-day work, quarterly work, monthly work, and all that. This information is very must. Then it was internal dealings with contractors, obligation, contracts organizations, and then there was elaborations of coordinations, as pointed earlier, means what sort of coordinations you have to do. Same way, all these coordinations were explained on in paragraphs in details. Then licensing work, and then we can say volume. And then I reached to some what contractors agent is supposed to do. In that, I will just repeat that one again so that you can reconnect by a kind of overlap. This is what a contractor's agent is supposed to do. And I just again stress contractor's agent, it's not property agent, it's not some other broker. Agent means a contractual term. It means that if you see Contract Act, you'll find in that many terms. Contract is a legal document, particularly construction contract is an instrument, or you can say a kind of charter between two parties. One party is employer, that is called promoter, or whatever you can call it. Owner, that owner is first party on project or on that agreement, construction agreement, and other party is contractor, that can be construction contractor or EPC contractor. That party is second party. Party 1 and party 2 both have their responsibilities, and for contractors, party 2, there is a representative in that contract, that is called agent, contractor's agent, contract's representative, whereas by second party there is engineer or resident engineer who are legal representatives to an extent. Engineering is contract is concerned, but they can employ someone else also and keep engineers apart. It depends upon what way we organize the contract, and particularly in government departments or where work is done by companies themselves without holding any engineer, just contractors are there or they do work themselves, wherein they just do not engage certain project managers or engineers. So their chief engineers are actually engineers in those departments, in those governments. Chief engineer is engineer there, and other engineers they employ, for example, superintending engineers who is responsible for construction, executive engineers at sector they do, project engineers they do. Means their different role is same. You cannot change role. Construction agent is responsible for construction site, and engineers or regional engineer is responsible for supervision, control, etc. This way, method is terms can be given, titles can be given, doesn't make a difference, but basic is same. One person has to do a work, another person has to ensure that work is being done in line to contract provisions. Both are responsible, both are equal, they are destined to deliver project quantitatively, qualitatively, and time-wise. Three factors are considered: management, quality, cost, and time. This is triangle of management. Everybody knows time is important because time means date of start of project and date of completion of project. That is very much dominating factor for whatever project, because you are investing a lot of money on project. So time is very significant. If you cannot value time, project got no meaning. If date of start is valued, date of completion is not valued, or date of delivery of project is not valued, it doesn't mean anything. Then cost. Cost is very important. It must be controlled. So what I say, quality, cost and time. Quality must be maintained. Quality maintenance means time maintenance means, and other one is quality, cost and time. All these three make a project. If this triangle can be regarded, this is called a professional work. If some lapse exists on any of these three corners of triangle, you cannot say that project has been developed professionally. Time must be valued, quality must be maintained, and quantity must be given that value. Quality, cost, time, quantity, all this count a lot. And it's duty of all staff, engineering staff, design staff, as well as management staff, that they should move coherently, jointly, keeping in mind objective, scope. That's very important. For that, everyone got its own role. Engineer has its own role, resident engineer his own role, and construction engineer his role. Then role of quality guys, safety guys, and role of time, that is management, project management, time management, planning management. These are very strict terms that must be complied with, of course, with reasonable tolerances. I cannot say no. There's no appreciation, but project must be respected that way. And it doesn't apply to this project only. This applies to whole world. You can consider this type of management everywhere, even in your activities where you work. Quality, cost and time. If you respect this, time number one, quality number two, and cost number three, or whatever sequence you can take. Quality is a must, which is not a must in our country, but it should be a must. Time means you cannot hold time if it runs away. All projects, if overrun, it is very difficult to recontrol them, restore them. And money, time overrun is money overrun. Money overrun means you waste money. Once money goes, it doesn't come back. You cannot recover it back. So you cannot recover time. You cannot recover money. This means quality certainly shall lapse, because if time is not in control, money is not in control, quality cannot be controlled. This is very important from practical contemplation viewpoint. No need that you refer to a book. You can think yourself what you are. And for that purpose, I am referring to job of contractor's agent or practical agent, work agent, you can say. It's a general term. You can take it anyway. It's up to you. I don't mind that. What I have written in that, I'll just read it for you and explain. As designation indicates, that person engaged as agent shall represent contractor or project site and must do what a contractor would do or shall do. In fact, a contractor is a businessman and shall like to make maximum profit and deliver goods, good quality of job expected of contract. Agent should not work according to what salary he draws, but realize value of successful performance, which would always be a credit in profession. Every eye I say working for project must be watching performance of new agent, so he must be very careful. Agent should be a director, administrator, commander of workforce, and staff a guide to subordinate executives namely project coordinators, site engineers, deputy and sub-agents, foreman, general foreman, assistant engineer, junior engineer, land surveyor, quality surveyors, quality engineers, and general administrators, personnel, and should have capacity to use his technical skills if required from time to time. Must have a business mind too, as in case contractor doesn't employ a contracts manager, these responsibilities at agent level are shared. Head office expects the agent to report directly to owner in that case, and agent needs enough market ideas in that case. Has to has then to select subcontractors, suppliers self. Of course, cumbersome job it is, but very essential. Remember, agent may be salaried plus a partner, of course, in profit percentages if possible, and hence his own interest, how much he can save for company and earn. Must be energetic, dynamic physically and mentally patient, diplomatic, administratively strong, and a good coordinator, a good corresponder, convincing, a good leader, a sympathetic person to solve workers' problems and see that injustice is not caused to anyone, to see salaries and other payments and are made in time when due, and to see that all safety measures are being adopted to prevent accidents, to see transport is available in time to carry workers to their camps back, to see that they are not sick seriously, and to ensure sufficient messes do exist, drinking water available on site as well as in camp to allow them leave when due as requested, to send wage bills in time and all other duties expected of an agent to perform. And remember, if persons working on project are not happy, health, healthy and harmonious, working atmosphere would not be built, as labor politics would be likely outcome of all such cases. Remember, the good agent would be respected by all, cannot just command respect by face value at all time. Apply face in rare cases, but people should fear by looking at you. Now, this is simple statement I have given. Agent actually is an engineer. An engineer means do work, examine work, investigate problems, and do work. Finally, keeping in mind contract documents, all types, design documents, specifications, and all other working documents, and deliver job according to charters. I did not mention charter here because charter of project is very specific document for owners as well as for contractors. Charter defines all stages from beginning, and I have put a file I'll explain to you later on in project management, which is a simple few pages document that explains what management is. I put that here. Some links are already available, but I is given in some other videos. If you go through all these URLs, you'll find somewhere, and that must be complied with. I cannot detail everything in every video. It's only reference that can be made too, because you all are educated people. You're not laymen. Because those documents are of that high standards which a layman, supervisor, or worker cannot understand. That can be understood by people skilled like you, engineers and senior engineers. These documents are helpful, and therefore I'm just going to narrate what actually it was intended to do in those days. It was like, you can say, let us say, maintaining site diary. What is site diary? Let me show you first format that was used briefly in that time. This is site diary, and you can see some columns in that. I will speak the columns about. I'm just showing you format in simplest form of normal. It's not computerized one. It's ordinary standard format which we used to do, and I speak means what it was in not way. Nowadays, so much has been done due to computers, but basic information remains as it was that time. So I say this is site diary. Now there are so many other names, but let us say diary is whatever it was. Progress report, you can call it diary. DPR, you may call it. Means whatever you may call it, but let us say site diary, record of site. Diary means record of site. Date, on one end, budget reference. Budget reference is also very important if you write that, so that you at least know where you are. Then it is name of work or job, and then contract reference. Now it is serial number. One column is serial number, then description, then area for contractor or agent, and then area for engineer, regional engineer, owner, etc. So I am just going to list out: number one, work planned; number two, activities completed; number three, activities started; number four, manpower, workforce, main contractor, main contractor. Then same number five, manpower, workforce, subcontractors. Then six is daily temperatures. Seven is who are visited to site. Then eight is test samples. Then nine is activities carried out, main contract, subcontract. Then 10 is accidents. 11 is inspections. 12 is materials arrived. 13 is machines arrived. 14 is total machines on site. 15 and others. You can add according to your convenience how you want to manage day-to-day work. There is no restriction to anything. These serial numbers can change, contents can be added or deleted. In others, you can take whatever it is. And then there is a signature column. One is agent signature and the regional engineer signature. This is very normal form, and I am sure you even cannot use it. If you try, you cannot use it, because there are so much information that you have to provide some person just to enter this someday. Then now it says site diary or daily job record. I say site diary or daily job record. It's a document submitted to resident engineer, because I'm talking on behalf of contractor. That's why I'm saying submit to resident engineer or supervisor, whoever that is, on behalf of engineer. It's a document submitted to resident engineer daily, detailing manpower, machinery present, material arrived, next day plans, activities started, activities completed, maximum and minimum day temperature, visited to site, inspections held, material samples sent to laboratory for testing, accidents, special remarks, etc. This shall be signed by contractor's agent and resident engineer and kept as a permanent record. Some resident engineers, like contractor's agent, keep site diary as tabulated below in A4 size duplicate. So I'll just explain to you. Now I'm explaining that portion on left side is used by contractor's agent, as I just now explained, while right side is reserved for resident engineer, his staff, employer, and special visitor to job from engineer site. And day sheet is in triplicate one. In those days, we used to like say triplicate one for agent, one for resident engineer, and one for contractor's head office. So it was triplicate, or it could be used in whatever you want. Information communication was main issue. And you can say benefits in this system that agent notifies in diary only, and resident engineer or relevant staff is bound to see daily next day's inspections, propose and approval to be signed in. Any instruction or advice or comment shall be entered in that only. This was a general type of record in those 80s. Now different what has come, different forms are there, but Accountants still do same. Then you can say some as consultants prefer daily job record. Now just defining means what preferences on those days. It's a standard performer. It's a standard performer provided by engineer and shall carry all informations as in site diary except notices for inspection purposes and approvals. Separate standard proforma are issued for purposes of making requests for inspection of various disciplines, and agent is supposed to notify in advance enclosing related sketch of proposed inspection. And agent is supposed to notify in advance enclosing related sketches of proposed inspection. All resident engineers expect a notification of 24 to 48 hours in advance of inspection timing, so dealing engineer gets prepared and programmed according to not to overlap inspections on jobs of other contractors simultaneously working in that area. This condition remains adhered to in early stages, but as project moves, working relations among contractors improve and resident engineer and his staff get cohesive due to good performance of job, this practice may be made flexible depending upon progress of work. So this is not very hard and fast rule. It's a flexible and adaptable one in interest of project. Then we say daily report submittal. This report is submitted to contractor's head office daily by agent based on details given by site engineers in charges for their respective sites and confirmed by agent including next day program. Main purpose of this report is to let head office know what people have done and what shall be done next day, and also to control wastage of time and avoid mismanagement by site people. This also emphasizes on immediate needs on job and impressed money requirement. Impressed money means temporary expenses that can be done directly from site without taking prior permission of management. This makes head office conversant apprised of what is going on site, that control is good or bad. But this is applicable when site is near head office, as agent could visit that head office daily. But in case when site is far away and agent cannot go there to head office daily, in which case agent himself acts as head office and does everything on his responsibility to make site moving. So this was simple explanation about what was procedure and what was done, and this can vary depending upon the organization, your system, what you design for. Then let us say material submittals. What is very important is, let me read first and explain to you later on, because this is very, you can say, complicated and time consuming activity to tell material submittals. Condition in contract requires that every item to be installed in job should be approved by engineer before same is brought to site, and engineer's approval means approval by owner also. A proforma is issued to contractor who has to buy material. Contractor describing name of work, item number according to BOQ, specifications, references, name of manufacturer, catalog or technical literature, all signed by contractor or agent and numbered for registration reference. This submittal is made in triplicate through along with sample if required in residence engineer's office, where concerned specialist examinees examine validity and genuinity of proposal to prescribed standards per specifications, and in case it conforms to specifications and requirements, an approval is granted and endorsed by engineer and owner, otherwise returned to contractor, rejected or asking to resubmit after more details are available as comments made. Same procedure is carried out in connection with subcontractors' material submittals through main contractor. Once approval is obtained Approval is obtained. Approved sample with reference number on that is kept in sample room in office of resident engineer to facilitate supervision by specialist and supervising engineer and clerk of works to check use of same item on site. Contractor cannot make Contractor cannot make use of unapproved materials brought on site in permanent inclusion for job in case some delivery problems do exist. Contractor may submit an alternative and obtain an approval prior to procuring in use or bringing in use. Resident engineer is empowered to order removal of unapproved stock of material brought to site by contractor. You may find numbers of material submittals on building projects comprising of building materials, electrical materials, engineering materials, plumbing and drainage materials, all internal and external infrastructural materials to be included in finishes and landscaping and all special items involved. It's duty of agent to check that unapproved items are not ordered. Sometimes, due to lacking information from supplier, item cannot be approved in it. Then agent should pursue this matter with supplier to provide required information to match required technicality or standard as specified so that item be finally approved and ordered by contractor or subcontractors in time to avoid delay on job. Once material delivery is done to site, an agent is bound to inform resident engineer through site through his daily job record about details of delivery supported by authentic documentations to enable resident engineers or specialist engineers and quantity engineers to have a check on delivery to impart a pass or sanction a pass. Performa follows. Now, what performa is just I'm showing you, it was in those days. It may vary, but just for information purpose. Information is more important than performa. This was that material submittal got, and you can say what performa is name of client, contractor reference, name of work, reference to BOQ, reference to specifications, name of manufacturer, test, technical literature, sample, and remark, etc., signatures, and all these blanks. And then there is another one, resident engineers, comments, and engineer what he wrote. And after that, then further, this is a simple performa, means you must have information of this. Now I'll go to sharp drawing. Let me some material also. I just explained to you material submittal. It is a term, material submittal. Generally, what happens on international contracts or on contracts in other countries, I'm not sure about what happens in my country because I'm least bothered about that because there's no system actually. Everybody has his own system, but when there is standardized contracts, for example, contracts of a FIDIC contract or it's civil engineering contract or some other contracts, you have certain standards, procedures that must be followed. And material submittal is one as such. Because generally in contracts and bids it's written that you have list is given, you have to buy materials either of following 3 or 4 names are given and you have to procure that material only. Generally it's not open actually, means they decide these suppliers or manufacturers are acceptable on this contract. And you have to get approval of those, means which one you want to prefer, which one to propose and reason for that. That is called material submittal. Means you have to get approval of material submittal prior to place orders for their procurement, and you know it's time consuming, means lot of work is done pre-bidding and then lot of work is done for approval and then you have to place orders for that. Means value of time you have to keep in mind, how much time it takes for placing order, for approval plus placing order plus delivery period. These are important factors from project management viewpoint, and it's not for one material, it's for all materials. All permanent materials, difference is there. I'm talking of permanent materials. I am not talking of temporary materials or of preparatory materials. Permanent materials with those materials which are going to be included for permanent use on project, which cannot be taken out of project after once installed. For that it is, for example, concrete. You have to get approval of concrete, you have to get approval of aggregate, both types, cement, additives and all that. You have to take approval of everything. Similarly, for all materials, you have to repeat same in same pro forma every time. When it comes back rejected, you have to resubmit. When it comes approved with comments, you have to resubmit. And when it comes as finally approved, finally you have to record it. And that sample of approved sample, you must keep in some approval. Approved sample must be kept in certain sample room for purpose of both contractors as well as for inspection purpose by resident. This is what it was. So this is a term, this is contract term, this is, you can say, project term, and must be understood. Then I'm going to drawings. What I wrote in that. Shop drawing submittals or working drawing submittals. As discussed earlier, that services drawings forming part of contract drawing shall only be used for schematic purposes to guide contractors what to do according to requirement of project. Based upon material submittals, architectural and structural requirements, electrical, mechanical and engineering, plumbing and drainage related builders work, drawings shall be prepared for grids and section references to a scale or whatever scale 120, so that every detail of drawing shall be exhibited elaborately, depicting clearly and properly coordinated to each other and also to interdisciplinary details. These drawings pertain to finishes and decorations also, but comparatively to allied services drawings, quantity shall be too low. Contract drawing requires main contractor to see that drawings are submitted within a period of 60 days from day of contract award. But practically this is very difficult on a big size project, for main contract shall involve many agencies to carry out allied services works to each discipline. Each agency and many other contractors for minor elements. Consequently, output shall be sloppy, as every agency shall do according to its own interest to save more, and only problem to bring all of them on one table at a time would be faced by contractor's agent, and really difficult to make them all work in close cooperation to do smooth work. The architectural and structural details are made available to these subcontractors dealing with services, and they prepare drawings. Site agent shall have to prepare drawings of his own disciplines of building works, such as reflected ceiling plans, coordinated drawings of spatial structures, such as swimming pools, on any proposal needed on site. Drawings regarding fixing details of doors, windows, ladders, or some other especially required to be incorporated due to manufacturer's special instructions are all incorporated in working drawings. The dealing engineers submit drawings in triplicate under standard pro forma, exhibiting submittal, reference number, name of work, contract specification reference, section in project, etc., with agent who further forwards them in duplicate on contractor seal, duly checked by main contractor's agent. services engineer accept a to resident engineer, retaining one with him as record. It's in good of main contractor to appoint more experienced services engineer to assist agent to do this job of submission smoothly and also keep a watch on drawings whether appropriate or inadequate to avoid wastage of time due to unnecessary rejection and resubmissions. Having gone through drawings, resident engineer recommends based on comments of specialist engineers, may be architect, service engineers or structural engineer, and forward them to engineer for final approval or redirects them to contractor in case of being rejected for resubmission as case be. Once drawings are approved, finally, it's duty of main contractor to instruct subcontractor to provide 6 prints sealed as approved and get them endorsed by resident engineer and specialist engineers for final distribution to related parties as explained earlier. For his own drawings shall produce prints get endorsed over seal and distribute accordingly. Agent shall see that only approved drawings should be issued to site engineer for purpose of job execution and no other. And perform, I'll just depict here, show you for just your information. This is for, you can say, because of this, this is performer, just the performer. This is performer drawing, which is used here. Well, no problem. Let me see that. Now, further going, it's written here in this performer, shop drawing, working drawing, submittal performer, to be placed on top of proposal, duplicate drawings for submission to resident engineers. Name, one is owner, other side engineer. So what I say, name of work or contract, reference to drawing, reference to specification, reference to contract drawing, and then signature and subcontractor seal, then signature and main contractor seal, and then date. And then next is resident engineer, architectural engineer signature, electrical engineer signatures, others, structural engineers, engineering, whatever required. Then remarks, and then after that approval, rejected or approved comments. These are general performance. Very common sense means, and it doesn't change much. Now let's go to something else. That is, now what's noticed here, in case of approved status, please get required number of prints, normally 6, endorsed by resident engineer and specialist engineer, that may be architectural engineer, senior services engineer, or structural engineer, or electrical engineer, or mechanical engineer, or plumbing and drainage engineer, or other disciplinary spatial engineer per item of submission. Now let's go to program, plan, you can say. Based on overall program, quarterly program, availability of manpower, workforce, and material, site agent is supposed to submit a weekly program in form of bar chart at end of week to resident engineer to enable that engineer to keep inspections or inspectors and dealing engineers engageable at time of inspections and prepare schedule of expectations. It's not very tedious job, since agent can easily judge what operations can be carried out in coming 6 days based on practical experience of site. Moreover, can seek advice of his site engineers during site working, site plans directly on day-to-day basis. Important issue is to see that necessary materials and machinery and manpower are made available to assist engineers to give results. And pro forma is very simple, it's not very big deal. It's very, very common. Common means just activities what you are going to do, which day to which day in week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and remarks are there. You can say form work. Examples are just form work. It is there placing. It is, you can say reinforcement placing, then pouring, and whatever is there. It depends. And this is the performer. Nothing very. It's not a very big technology. When I say quarterly program means a repetition of that extension of a weekly program, and it is based on overall program. A quarterly detailed program is prepared by agent for engineer's approval. In fact, it's not very essential to have it, but should resident engineer require. It requires that due to complexity of project, contractor is contractually bound to prepare that. It's not a complicated task, but activities are further detailed for a period of 13 weeks, and only those items are covered in main program. Those items are covered in main program should be included. Now, this what's a rate column should be filled in base of period allowed for completing a particular activity. Advisable here is to allow a little more time for particular activity to compensate for time loss due to contingent problems of non-availability of material or workforce. Bottom portion exhibiting details of proposed availability should be clearly depicted. Average of proposed availability of tradesmen, drivers, operators, laborers, etc. be shown. Machines of various types must be shown in case of mechanical constructions, method statements involved, etc. Namely, excavator, shovel, forklift, stationary or mobile concrete pumps, tower cranes, mobile telescopic cranes, tipper, trucks, dumpers, sort breakers, diggers, sort tool, road loaders, pavers, compactors, etc. Perform follows. Breakup of detailed number of artisans such as steel fixers, masons, tailors, block builders, carpenters, welders, plumbing fitters, air conditioning, duct workers, foremen, electricians, helpers, etc. Should all be written that shall assist you in instrument, shall assist you as an instrument to suggest or inform needs in following period or coming period or in near future, and form basis weekly program and placement of local material orders and arrange machine and different men, workforce and materials. Now I'm talking about complete program. Let me read first and then we'll talk. This envisages on formation of whole project work on one program or plan in frame of either bar chart or in CPM network, critical path method network or PERT network. That is program evaluation and review technique. CPM and PERT are good techniques for framing of programs. On big and complex projects, when most of durations, interaction of operations and activities control shall be much significant, but this program shall not be of some use to common site supervisors and foremen who are in direct control of job, and sometimes even to engineers on sites as technician engineers who must understand all this. It's therefore advisable to frame bar charts for individual buildings and structures and infrastructural works, as these would be easily understood by all on site in addition to network systems, so that a combination of two shall be used at sites for purpose of progress monitoring. Interpretation shall be made easy this way, and a combined program of all structures in form of bar, schedule or chart be constructed for whole contract or project. This would make program review and progress convenient and easy for contract site meetings, and pro forma follows. Pro forma is very easy, not a difficult. Then it is similarly bar schedules for other structures should be prepared and got approved by resident engineer and engineer, along with combined unified overall job bar schedule representing all details covering date of start to date of completion period. There shall be a number of charts depending upon number of buildings and their sizes and also nature of job. Unified chart shall exhibit details of manpower, workforce, machineries, and equipments to be engaged on job for whole period of contract. Quantity may vary per requirement and per contractor's experience. In early stages, this activity shall appear to be very hard, but benefits are assured at time of calculating monthly progress. Review for meeting. Once agent is accustomed to use this instrument or this tool, project progress of various activities shall be on tips to monitor progress with program. In commencement stage of job, hardly a few buildings, say two or more, be started simultaneously. Means at that time, agent shall be dealing with only two or only those related programs, chats, and most commonly in midway of completion time. The program shall come into work operation, shall be beneficial for agent to compute weekly progress percentage on every chart at end of activity and transfer information to time period versus program percentage graph. Based on total cost of project or building in question, agent shall allot a percentage of cost to all such individual programs and activities to make total percent 100. It shall it shall enable agent to reach total summary progress percentage while reviewing progress for site meeting. And I'll just show you a glimpse of this. First of all, let us see what is quarterly program. Here you can say a glimpse of that only, not full. This is what I say. Activities and program in a very simple way. And let us say what's about other one which I'm just talking. That is your bar chart program for project activities and time period and all that. And you can say simple way. This is not difficult one, but I'm just trying to show you those who are not very experienced one. Now, what it says in quarterly program, it says title is quarterly program, contact number, date of start and date of completion, name of work, date of start, date of completion. So contract date of start and contract date of completion and actual date of start and date of completion. Then quarterly program, serial number is there, quarterly program is there, description item is there, all activities are there. The next one is rate of progress per week is there. Then week, let us say week 14 to week 26 are written there. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There are these columns from 14 to 26, and positions of bars is shown, and then remark and progress maintained. And same thing for whole program, bar chart program for one building. It says bar chart program and building A, for example, date of start is this and date of contract completion is this, and then it says serial number, description of activity, rate percentages, and weeks, that is 16, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 16. And this is just a consideration. And you said the activities, for example, I'm giving for reference only. It can be different one. It says in description of activity, item number 1, taking over and mobilization. Then 2 is survey and excavation. 3 is blinding. 4 is foundation, 5 is backfill plus ground floor, 6 is ground floor to first floor columns, 7 is from first floor slabs, 8 is first floor to second floor columns, then 9 is second floor slab, then 10 is electrical first fix, then plumbing is first fix, then 12 is engineering first fix, then 13 is block work, 14 is plastering, 15 is rendering, 16 is roofing, then 17 is doors, windows, woodworks, 18 is metalworks, then 19 is staircase, 20 is flooring, 20 is electrical second fix, 22 is plumbing second fix, 23 is mechanical second fix, and 24 is testing and commissioning, and 22 is stacks and however. This is just information given in that, and you can take into bar chart, into your bars of this 1 to 16, you can write that. This is for information purpose only. Means what is done here is that one in the simplest way. So now there is a different discipline about this planning or programming, and specific engineer, specialist engineer on those programs, prima vita it is called, or MS project it is called, or what you call it. Various levels are done on that planning: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, like that. Gross program or different variations of program and detailed program, all are done specifically with complete in-depth study, but that is meant for major projects. For smaller projects, you cannot waste this much time on planning, and actually there's no need of any planning engineer in that case, because planning is done according to quantification, according to time allotted to all activities, and there are many complications. Our target is that work should be done within time, and if we are supported by that system of planning, it's fine. It should be professionally supported, and a planner who is there must know what time it takes for construction and what is sequence of construction. And if that guy doesn't run the sequence of construction, that plan shall be defective. And generally it happens that there is a difference of opinion always between those people who work on site and between that engineer who works in office to produce this plan. They don't match together. What is given, there are so many types of plans they issue. This is level 1 program, then look ahead 3 weeks, or look ahead 3 months, like that. Look ahead next week. Means such types of documents are issued. Of course these are helpful for certain purposes, but all site people, they do their way, because material is with them. It's not necessary what material was planned has been procured. There are so many complications which are done on site, and hardly I have seen that these plans are followed except for purpose of monitoring and cost control. That's very good. Now we move further down to allocation of percentage to particular activity. That's important. That's cost control, you can say, kind of management control, or kind of or kind of evaluation of work, or you can say whatever you may call it. Means it relates to many items, many fixed percentages. Allocation of percentage to particular activity. This is a raw discussion. Mathematically, it is easy to say to divide by number of activities in a chart to figure of 100. But an intelligent agent should consider a number of factors. Some activities which are directly done, on site shall consume more time, while others activities that may not be directly in his supervision or supplied in completed form to be fixed only shall definitely consume much less time for agent's time's consideration purpose. For example, RCC, reinforced cement concrete, cast in situ, foundation excavations and their preparations in rock formations, finishes on site, decoration and roofing, etc., should be allotted more weightage of time factor. Items such as doors, windows, metalworks, and all ready-made items be less weightage. In program time, activities of allied services are generally distributed as plumbing, electrical, engineering, first and second, and testing and finals, and many others such as building management system, SCADA system, CCTV system, etc. Here, I refers to first stage, 1 refers to first stage. Fix 1 to all this. 1 refers to first stage of work, and Two relates to installation of related items, and final refers to complete testing and commissioning operations. For example, electrification 1 means laying conduits in concrete before concrete pour and drawing wires after concrete. Second indicates fixing of points, switches and sockets and luminaries. Then similarly, fabrication and fixing of aluminium, air conditioning ducts insulated with glass fiber and painted with vapor barriers, sealed with all fittings such as bends, attenuators, volume control dampers, fire dampers for supply and return of cooled air for system, laying of chilled water pipes of copper fixed on steel brackets, installed of installation of equipments, etc., come under fix 1 of engineering, while fixing of diffusers and splitters, grills, return air space, connecting machines, air handling units AHUs, and chillers to their isolators, supply and operational functioning. Systems come in fix 2. Well, it's all up to contractors, consultants team how to manage distribution of activities. Actually, sometimes contractors should further prepare based on time periods for these activities shown in main program, their own trade programs, technical details, exhibiting details of all operations minutely and review progress on that basis. Agents shall find 3 trade programs: electrical, engineering, plumbing and drainage, all to be submitted for approval by agent. And nowadays building management system, CCTV or other alarm system, gas system, etc. also available that are included. Every activity as included indicates 2 bars, one shaded and other one firm. Shaded bar indicates programmed progress, while other indicates practical progress. Later shall be shaded from time to time depending upon quantity of work done. This shall make you aware how far or behind you are on program. Well, now it is computer system, so it's different one, but in sense is same. Revised program. Programs of individual building or more buildings shall fluctuate either ahead or behind schedule. Nobody bothers in case progress comes ahead, but in other case where building is behind schedules due to many constraints, say does employer does not release payments in time, contractor doesn't want to invest more funds, importation of material is not made in time, import of material is not made in time due to lack in issue of letters of credit or LCs, financing banks do not cooperate, major changes are induced in design due to unforeseen or some other reason, progress lags behind program considerably, and resident engineer and contractor conclude that program schedules in no way can be met. Revision of program to a new completion date is insisted, wherein agent reform reframes whole scheme as before, and itself shall make big exercise. Itself makes a big exercise. Many resident engineers do not insist on revised programs but go on monitoring on original program. for consideration of progress review and to include delay in ratification of extension of time, which form a complex calculation for quantity and contract engineers. This is review revised program. Actually, revised program means you have to grant extension of date also for completion. That's the complication. It's very difficult to extend date, but practically it is done. Then after this is monthly progress report, monthly technical and coordination meeting with resident engineer, monthly technical and coordination meeting with subcontractors, contract meeting, general meeting, site meeting. These meetings, these titles are interrelated. And finally, related to contract or site meeting of progress review meeting. What I am saying, monthly progress report. Maybe it is weekly progress report sometimes these days, or it is fortnightly weekly report, depends upon type of contract you have. Then you can say technical and coordination meeting, resident engineer, then the subcontractors and contract general meeting. I'm just trying to brief you about means what I'm saying. When you say contract meeting, or you can say progress review meeting, regular progress review meetings or contract meetings are same thing, same title. You have to fix a period when progress review is to be conducted according to contract, because project review is a must. It can be fortnightly, it can be weekly, it can be monthly. It depends upon progress of work, rapidity with which project is moving. And that is one thing. There's one part of this project meeting, contract meeting, or progress review meeting, because it is progress which is going to be monitored, which is monitored, and that includes services. That includes all items other than civil construction. Those must be coordinated before meeting is conducted. And that is, there are so many disciplines: civil, electrical, mechanical, CCTV, firefighting system, and you may say many others like SCADA if it is the, that is supervisory control, etc., and that is building management system is the. All these are services which are provided to building, to structures. There must be complete information about progress update, which can be obtained on record by conducting these activities or by including these activities into main meeting, which means there are so many representatives sitting in main meeting, and there are consultants, owners, and contractors, subcontractors, everybody is there, and it becomes a big group there, and it's not easy to control because there's a timing for contract meeting. So what is actually done? It is demanded, it is asked that contractor, main contractor has to consult, has to conduct separately services meeting to get same report which that was submitted into contract meeting or process meeting. So that contractor conducts its contractual meetings for services. That's called technical and coordination meeting with its parties who are responsible for services disciplines. And information that is to be included in contract meeting, same information is collected in this meeting. Each and every point is connected, and that's called technical and coordination meeting, which contractor is required to chair. Consultants or engineers representative can be there, but responsibility lies with with contractors, main contractor, general contractor. That is what that means. Performa is same, no difference. I'm going to read it. What actually this is not about this, about contract meeting. Now, what is contract meeting? Let me read first and we'll discuss later on. Now I'm reading that. According to contract, engineer or resident engineer holds meeting to review monthly progress or other frequency, doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. Discussions all discuss all problems related to contract and termed as contract meeting or site meeting or progress review meeting. Contract meeting involves technical and coordination work done for project activities, progress achieved, materials arrived at site, materials ordered, expected time of arrival, any possible delay, valuations, payments, quality controls, or some other kind of assistance required by contracting company, alterations and proposals, etc. Once again, right, this is the contains many technical terms. Contract meeting involves technical and coordination work done for project activities, progress achieved, materials arrived to site or delivered to site, materials ordered, expected time of arrival of materials that has been ordered, any or whatever possible delay, valuations, payments, quality controls, or some other kind of assistance required by contractor, alterations and proposals. In fact, generally 1 week ahead of contract meeting, resident engineer likes to hold that meeting as part of contract meeting, possibly to avoid presence of every party and also to reduce longevity or duration of contract meeting. So, but practically, technical and coordination meeting needs presence of electrical subcontractors, engineering and subcontractors, plumbing and drainage subcontractors, or some other services subcontractors, or related concerned approved engineers of disciplines. In case main contractor carries all disciplines itself and contractors agent and from resident engineers and representation is done by electrical, mechanical, plumbing engineer as well as project coordinators headed by resident engineer. The details of material submittals, shop drawings, submittals, their approval or status schedules, pending submissions and possible dates for same, materials ordered, materials delivered, expected time of arrival ETA, exchange of technical informations EME, general problems related to main contract, building works, presence of manpower, workforce, works of fabrications, carried out, remedial works, trades, programs and relation of those programs to main approved programs, progress achieved and and comparison sealed on approved programs, action required, comparison scaled on program, action required shall be all discussed in that meeting in totality and recorded, minuted and circulated to all presents, engineer, owner and contractor and subcontractors. In first coordination meeting, resident engineer should ask resident agents to schedule materials and working and shop drawings to be proposed for engineer's approval, on which shall depend contents of future meetings. Agenda minuted shall be given in pages following. How shall that be recorded by resident agent? Now, leaving technical and coordination meeting to be conducted by resident engineer shall not prove to be in good of agent and contractor as well. Every resident and his engineers expect agent of contractor or site coordinators to deal with coordination themselves, as that goes to responsibility of contractors. Intelligent and experienced agent starts carrying out this work itself should request all parties in relation to attend internal technical and coordination meetings based on same agenda as with resident engineers and consultants, and all correspondences and instructions should be included in agenda. Agent should conduct this meeting exactly to same way as a resident engineer does, but leave technical decisions on resident engineer and specialist services engineers. All actions to be taken on site memos, site instructions received from resident engineer's office should be recorded and parties concerned pressed to follow up matter to comply with per contract obligations at an earliest. The status of materials ordered and delivery schedules, status of working drawings, submissions and approval schedule, technical problems in coordinations, financial aspects of items and variations, additions and alterations, etc. And any other business or miscellaneous work and date of next meeting should all be recorded in minutes of meetings and copies of which circulated to all present in that meeting. Resident engineer and consultants, head office of subcontractors and head office of contractors. This method shall import agent a situation where be informed for all allied services happening and make himself answerable of whatever query by whatever and command subcontractors, and also subcontractors would not be in a position to befool agent. Of course, it shall provide agent an opportunity to acknowledge and acquire some technical and engineering aspects of job and need to go through drawings of allied services to find more and more from both schematic and as well as working drawings. Agent may be in a position sometimes even to cross-examine subcontractors on its own and whether subcontractors and resident engineers are fair to contract or not fair, and enjoy respect of all concerned. And minutes pro forma is that. Tell you, I'm just giving you this glimpse of minutes pro forma here. That this is just a glimpse. Who's present, who's not present, and you can say just explanations of that. So I'm just going to read out this pro forma for your reference because you cannot see from what I showed to you. Top is minors, technical and coordination meeting, contractor's chair, contractor's name, name of work, contract number, technical and coordination meeting number, then venue, then site, then date and time. These are all common. Serial number is there in one column, then description and then action. And serial number as usual, then there's a present. This is in description column, name, label, representing. Name is there, you can write. Label means whatever designation of that person, which company it is. and whom is representing. Then is the apology, means if somebody is not available, apology if received can be written here. The minutes of last meeting. Agreed by all, amendment made to entry number. This both are required. If there is no objection to all those are present, you can say agreed by all, or some observation pointed out that has to be recorded and corrected and incorporated. It's then next is material status. They are talking. Material is one column. Total, what submitted, approved, balance, remark. This is a tabulation of material status. Then details of main material. Electrical engineering. Example I'm just giving you. Conduits, for example, approved and delivered to site in parts. It's just record. Then drawing wires, then light fittings, fire alarm system, call bell system, smoke detector, chillers, also isolators, light poles and switches and sockets and main circuit breakers, distribution boards, waterproof lights, outside. And for example, mechanical, you can say aluminum ducts, glass fiber installations, volume control dampers, attenuators, and fire dampers. Then filters, chillers, air handling units, chilled water copper pipes, extract fans and pressurization units, and condensers and pumps. And plumbing is, for example, stoneware pipes and fittings, and cast iron pipes and sand cast iron pipes, and WC Asian, WC European, wash hand basins, slip sinks, urinals, water pipes and fittings, all other pending items, and whatever else is there. This is it's just your right and everything. There's no fixation on this. In action column, you have to write who is responsible for that observation. Is that person must be there. That name must be written, which contractor, main contractor, subcontractor, or whoever is there. And you can say then come to shop and working drawings. And just before going to further, I will say perform a shop and working drawing, that is discipline, total, submitted, approved, approved down. When I'm saying electrical and engineering, plumbing and specialist, total how many submittals were planned, that means to say is for the drawing or is for material. That's total how many submittals were required. Out of those, how many have been submitted and how many have been approved or approved with comments or balance. Same thing for materials. Total, planned, submitted, approved, balance and remark. This is chapter thought. And if you want to see, I can show you, has no problem. And so is there, you can say just for your information, you cannot read anything here, just an appraisal means there is something, that's all. You cannot read anything here. Now let's go just to understand, means it's not concrete discussion, just the informative discussion. For example, details, electrical. Generally, all drawings are submitted and approved, and only 35% of major drawings of following disciplines are pending. Due to non-availability of mechanical engineering, technical information related to machine, pumps, etc. These are just for coordinating information. There's the mechanical. Most of drawings are pending for submission. Only 15% so far have been submitted, remaining to be submitted in 1 month time. This is deviating program, recovery program, etc. And same thing is for say plumbing. 50% drawings submitted, none approved due to technical reasons. Main contractor instructs plumbing engineer to pursue matters personally with resident engineer and sort out rejected drawings at an early. Means these are kind of notes, you can say, in minutes. And if you say that swimming pool, for example, system submitted for approval under scrutiny, and resident engineer's office, main contractor to pursue matter with resident engineer. Then reflected ceiling plan says under preparation in agent's office and expected to be submitted in 15 days. Then trade programs, for example, electrical to be submitted in 3 days, mechanical under preparation to be submitted in 10 days, and plumbing under preparation to be submitted in 30. These are all means informative notes, means doesn't matter this notes. I'm saying you have to write like that. And pool system under preparation to be submitted in 10 days. All subcontractors admitted that they are in this set of main contractors approved program in all buildings and main combined and coordinated program for or guidance of subcontractors. Then progress, let us say discipline, programmed progress, remarks, and discipline are critical. Whatever programmed is say 15%, progress is 10%, lagging behind, say as mechanical 10% programmed and 5% lagging behind. As a plumbing, for example, 20% programmed and 20% progress means online or top program. Then similarly, coordination. Electrical engineers sort information about chillers and HUs and coordinate technical statistics. Mechanical engineer to supply in 3 days. So, electrical engineer demanded availability of certain air conditioning equipment layout drawings to relate this electrical system. Due to mechanical and contractor to take 20 days delay. Delay due to mechanical subcontractor to take 20 days. Agent insisted upon mechanical engineer to report result effective measures. Swimming pool engineer wants clearance of related mechanical equipment drainage and plumbing details. Is held due to that agent requested mechanical and plumbing engineers to conclude matters expeditiously. So like this we have to enter, means just for information I'm going to this. I'll stop it further. I'll say monthly progress report. That is very important. And you can design your formula, there's no hitch on that. But simple formula is format is, which you can see here. I have written on my own. It's not very, you can say, managerial, but just for understanding it is. This is monthly progress report formula or format. Just for information, I'm showing you which I used to do myself long back. And it is monthly progress report for site meeting, honor, date of commencement, contractors, then date of contract completion. This means whatever written actually is honor, contractor, budget reference, the date of commencement, date of contract completion, and the serial number, description of building, structure, BOQ reference, etc. Percentage this month, percentage last month, so progress monitoring, progress measurement, percentage this month, percentage last month, combined progress this month, combined progress last month, then programmed and remark, all these are there. So you may say various content, for example, mobilization, you can write in description column, mobilization and establishment, building A, building B, building C, building D, building E, building whatever numbers there, and percentage this one is 100, 10, 5, and whatever last one there. You can continue this. Then overall program is plus or minus fixed. That is to be recorded. And you have to provide weightage also in that. You can take it cost wise or you can take it activity wise, depends upon you. If you are taking activities wise, then you have to apply weightage factor. And if you're taking cost wise, then you can directly take cost of that item or project that you have decided in your tender or bid. That's cost of this building, that's cost of that building. If you have done that way, if you have not done total in one, sometimes I have seen that people just take one BOQ and that doesn't work. You have to take every BOQ for every building. That's important. Then you have to write in that report what measures you've taken for covering this delay. For example, there are measures to be taken to increase workforce, to shift machine from building ahead of program to building lagging behind, to bring more subcontractors in etc. Solution here. Then special remark may be there. Due to delayed payments by complier, due to delayed payment by employer, cash flow situation of contractor has worsened to non-fulfillment of commitments. Bank stopped issuing overdrafts. Engineer is requested to pursue on or to release valued payments. Valued payments means those who have been valued or approved in time, or work is afraid to further delay. That kind of note is written. And an overall statement is also given if he thinks it's suitable. Having overall picture of job, contracts manager or site agent should mention status of job according to observations made. Observations, progress is against program, schedule indicating lag or advancement. Any other comment, whatever you think possible, can be added depending upon contract and exact case. So I noticed that written this table is an indicator of progress summary as an overall picture of job that should be abstracted only after preparation of individual progress charts as have been elaborated in following page, which shall indicate detailed percentages of each activity on every building. That activity means, for example, I have given this form here. I'll read it for you. It is that this is I'm saying this page indicates detailed percentage of each activity on every building, stating progress is ahead or behind schedule program. These shall be as there shall be as many progress charts or tabulate as many programs. Now it shall depend on experience and understanding of agent preparing statements how far he may reach reality and approximations. I say table building A progress table, and the columns are serial number, description, program percentages, progress this month, progress last month, ahead behind what's remark. For example, the number one excavation, then blinding, bitumen, footings, foundations, backfill and GF, columns first floor to second floor, ground floor to first floor, then slab first floor, then columns first floor to second floor, then slab first second floor, then block work to ground floor, columns to second floor to third floor, then slab third floor, block work second floor, plumbing first fix, plumbing second fix, electrical first fix, electrical second fix, mechanical first fix, mechanical second fix, testing and final, and woodwork, metal work, plastering and rendering, roofing, painting, doors and windows, flooring and carpeting, so flooring and carpeting, and snagging and handover, then total. So same thing you have to, same form you have to apply for all these separate schedules, separate batches, and monitor progress. Then there is a statement, for example, for buildings and services on site. Statement is very simple, means it's that you can see allied services, and for buildings, the statement is regarding workers, regarding staff or personnel. You can see that one. It's so easy, it's nothing very difficult in that to understand. You can understand very well. You can see this. Oh, and then I have written here designations. This is for workforce, means what workforce was in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and work allied services workforce were there. Example added agent, engineers, staff, masons, carpenters, steel fixers, riggers, operators, technicians, helpers, drivers, watchmen, etc. Then added services, plumbing engineer, plumbers, helpers, electrical engineer, electricians 1, electricians 2, then helpers, mechanical engineers, duct workers, installers, helpers, other services people. This is just informative purpose, nothing else. All records you can do that, no problem at all. And then for machines also I written same thing in machines. For example, excavator, rock breaker, generator, mobile crane, telescopic tower crane, shovel, concrete pump, bulldozer, damper, tractor, sandblaster, welding machine, vibrators, truck, or others, and machines of subcontractors. So I written that, and you can have a glimpse of this in just for information purposes. Nothing very concrete in that. You can see that one. Sorry, this one. Very concrete in that. This is that one you can say. So this is just confirmation, and then you go to other one, and that is also material submittals and delivery schedule status, which is very well important because material is 80% of cost. This I didn't find on projects I inspected as third party, and I was very upset with this information not available in a professional way, which is very important. I will speak about this. Now this performer, however, it says, I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little kind of cold. Still, I have to take this cap first because So the weather is very much fluctuating here. It doesn't help me. Sorry for this. Yes. Material submittals and delivery schedule status update. Material submittal and delivery schedule status update. Serial number, natural. Description of material, very important. Submittal reference, you submitted this material, must be some reference there. Then date of submission, you have to check date of submission because it must be date in plan way. You should know how many days it takes for submission and for review and approval. Then rejected or approved, that you know. Then date of approval if it is approved. Details of material placed in order. After approval, you have to place order for procurement. Then expected time of arrival, ETA, when you expect this material to be delivered to site. And then date of actual arrival or actual delivery. Then material sample inspection, approved, rejected, or some other order given to contractor, that is relevant to material. Damages, if some, in transportations. What were delivery problems or would be if there is some change in proposal, and remarks. These are basic requirements on this pro forma, but these are not limited. You can add additional if so you think are required. Example, long lead items. There can be other examples as well. Then notice there, material should be entered in this table according to approved list of material submittals, and no change can be made in that without approval of engineers. Similarly, services materials status shall be prepared for technical and coordination meetings as explained earlier in related discussions on matter. This is that pro forma, and we will have long discussion of this pro forma. Then list of materials, that is date wise, brought to site as consequence of local or regular supply. That is serial number, name, unit, date, source. Example, cement, blocks 200 mm, blocks 100 mm, this is concrete blocks. PVC 1000 gauge sheet, or you can say polyethylene membrane. It is not say PVC, it's polyethylene membrane, is written wrong. Aggregate is 20 mm, aggregate is 10 mm, sand, coarse or washed or dune sand. Plywood, polystyrene, scantlings, structural steel, reinforcement steel, and so on and so forth. No limit. If you want to see, I can show you this pro forma, very simple pro forma, just like a kid can write. This is list of materials, date wise brought to site, and this is here. You can write whatever material you got in. It doesn't make a big difference. And we'll say, what I can say, it is also good if you provide a list of details to indicate conditions of weather during reported period. Temperatures should be included. It's also good should you include report of details of accidents occurred during reported period. Include report or a few days earlier the detailed valuations and claims through your quantity engineer, which shall be taken up during meeting in financial part of agenda of meeting. So all these documents generally are prepared for every site or contract meeting and posted in single package at least 48 hours before time of meeting to resident engineer to let him go through documents. Then we say package of documents for site meeting. Thus I used to do that. I'm just informing you. I used to work like this, and I didn't believe in any time wastage. So this package, you can say, number one, summary sheet of overall progress on top, progress reports of all individual programs or buildings as case be in individual sheets and placed second from top. Then list of workforce and machinery deployments during progress period and placed third from top. Then material submittal and delivery schedule according to approved list and be placed fourth from top. Then list of materials during regular supplies in progress period and be placed fifth from top. Then list of weather conditions during reported period following. Then list of any accidents or whatever accidents followed by evaluation to be carried personally and generally one day before meeting discussed with resident engineers, quantity sub engineer and finalized. Minutes of previous meetings should be taken with you while joining meeting, as contents of meeting shall be related to contents of previous minutes of meeting. Now, should you be ready with all this information or documents and satisfactory answers for raised problems, would successfully attend meeting without hesitation or being let down and enjoy meeting. Since scope of discussion for which meeting is going to be held more or less shall confine to above documents until certain special discussion or problems about delay or mismanagement or performance in startup job is difficult, looks difficult, but in regular routine it's not that difficult. Then you can say after attending a few meetings, situations shall be repetitive, routine, and easy. Remaining time to be project shall be easygoing as this part of site management is concerned. In some cases, easygoing resident engineer and his project contract coordinator may depend upon informations provided by you for preparation of report to engineer through resident engineer. Now this was about meeting and it goes on every week or every month or per days, and you are considered then when you successfully attend such meetings in capacity as site agent or contracts manager or whatever capacity, project manager. I don't limit to one designation. Means you are a contractual person, in that case you are representing your contracting company, you are a responsible man. These people shall depend upon you because you are providing them competent information, authentic information, and you are considered, you can say, backbone of contractor's project. That is very good thing. Here you are involving with management, you are involving with valuation, you are involving in technicalities, you are involving with quantification, execution, supervision. Means you have many roles to play. This project may be smaller one or big one, doesn't make a difference because you are applying your mind which you earned by your own way. No one is teaching you there. This is customized work you are doing that suits on project. Then if you come forward, now I'm talking of general meeting, site meeting, etc. Now I was talking about contract meeting. This is called general meeting or site meeting. This is actually held once a month. In those times it was used like that. Maybe now this weekly or monthly. It doesn't make a difference, whatever you call it. This is actually held once a month to monitor progress on control and chaired by engineer or resident engineer. And those present in meeting are specialist engineers of resident engineer or resident engineers, is a specialist engineers or himself project coordinator, then quantity engineer or and from contractors and agent, project coordinator, site engineers and quantity engineer, and if wished employer representative or employer self, and discussions are based on progress report documents submitted by contractor agent. Now agenda of contract meeting, site meeting, general meeting, what is that? I'm just talking about that. Agreement on recorded meetings. Agreement on recorded minutes of last meeting by resident engineer, and before this apology if whatever received should be recorded. This is to be recorded by resident engineers. Progress in details of whole project scope in contract under meeting involved, including progress of allied services, referring to minutes of coordination and technical meeting, minutes already issued by resident engineer, and on queries of allied services, coordinations issues, contractors agent and dealing project coordinator for resident engineer shall be supposed to respond due to subcontractors engineer. Sorry. Subcontractors engineer would not normally be present once they have attended technical and coordination meeting. So what it says that in this meeting, this is because contract meeting, general meeting, and this is based on report of what you have submitted, which I explained before. Engineer is present there, or if not engineer, resident is present there. That person will chair this meeting. Employer can also be present, or employer's agent can also be present, doesn't make a difference. It's his right, employer's right. Then there's one party is engineer, other party is contractor, main contractor. Agent is there. From engineer end, resident engineer is there. There can be specialist engineers with that person, those who are responsible for site supervision, documents approval, material and transfer, all those people are there. Resident engineer is there, assistants are there, all assistants, and then from contractors, agent is there, project coordinator can be there, site engineer can be there. This way it goes, and then no presence of subcontractors because their information has been extracted into technical and coordination meeting. So agent is responsible for that, or if this project coordinator, that can be present for reflection, projection of those minutes and explanations. So people are limited in this meeting because this time is limited and they do not waste time. Valuation is to be involved in this. So valuation is also done before meeting. That can be concluded in that. This means it's very powerful meeting, high level meeting you can say. So what I say, it says that detailed discussions on material submittals, approvals and deliveries, and some other related problems on same, and shall base upon material submittal and delivery schedule as submitted by contractor duly updated. Detailed discussions on shop and working drawings in connection with building works if whatever is there. Then quality control, quality control on site and technical measures taken in cases of complaint by resident engineer and quality engineer on site or supervising engineer and related staff of resident engineers. Then alteration, addition or deletion measures taken in cases of complaint by resident engineer or alteration, addition or deletion required or requested by contractor or by employer. There are two things. One, I said quality control on site and remedial measures taken in case of complaint by resident engineer and quality engineer on site or supervising engineer and related staff of resident engineer. And then alteration, addition or deletion required or requested by contractor or by employer or suggested by others. As I said, quality department. There can be many complications in quality that can be taken up into those considerations with no brainstorming session, you can say. Then valuation of works done, valuation or you may say billing in normal terms, valuation of work done and extras if claimed by contractor and payments. Remedial measures to control work progress and other discussions or some of the business if required with permission of chair. Then next date of meeting to be fixed. This is summarized proceedings of that meeting. Contents of this meeting may vary every month or at other frequencies and shall depend on type and nature of project. Minutes of meetings be drafted and recorded by resident engineer or his project coordinator and circulated to all those present, to engineer, to owners, to contractors, and all related people on site. Now these are sent by mails, so paperwork is avoided, or later on paperwork can be signed, but immediately these are mailed in modern world as I used to do. After that, let's consider spatial and instant meetings. Spatial and instant meetings, meetings of various kinds. It depends upon circumstances, situations, and activities follow. Sometimes it's required and sometimes it's not required. Depends upon that. Let us see what it means. There are meetings of minor nature and can be held between contractor, supplier, and subcontractor, between subcontractor and consultant, between agent and subcontractors, between agent and resident engineers, dealing with finalization of minor matters or obtaining related information for suitability of items, systems proposed for submittals. Meeting may be held on a particular issue separately between agent and resident engineer. For example, some dispute arises on site regarding method of working and site engineers are foremen and they are not being in a position to explain to resident engineer, or resident engineer is made how to carry, resident engineer calls on agent and consult staff to discuss matters and agree agreement, or a compromise is made how to carry out item on site. Resident engineer can request or ask agent to furnish method statement to be approved by resident engineer and then to be adopted for execution of activity on site. Another example could be the lapse occurs on site on quality and resident engineer holds work as particular activity. Matters then taken among site engineers and assistants and way is sorted out. Confidential meetings may be held in case resident engineer or staff's complaint about one engineer or foreman spoiling job according to consultant and ways are sorted out by transferring engineer or foreman to less responsible job. There may be a meeting when some subcontractor does not turn to job expectation and performance be poor. Agent is called upon to discuss and take measures for improvement. There's some emergency, say, on job, and contractor is called upon to discuss matter, and all contractors are called upon to sort matter out. Sometimes aberrations are applied to program due to unforeseen conditions. Sometimes owner wishes to delete or alter part of contract job and reactions of contract is necessary on possible situation of already procured material or expenses contractor incurred on same. Whatever confirmation during these meetings must be recorded and following site memo to be issued by resident engineer to confirm discussion and solution decided. I'll show you this performance. Just very memo type, you can say note. It's not very contractual one. It's not very legal one. Just communication purpose it is. And that's what it is. So, oh sorry, this one, I'm sorry. This one, it's reflection. This sometimes, yeah. Okay, I'll read it out for you. It says contractor, address to contractor, building XY. Sir, agent resident engineer discussion held dated this. Confirm followings. Alteration to program shall be done as follows. A. X building to be postponed till further instruction. B. Y building be augmented with workforce. Signature of resident engineer. CC. Engineer, owner, site engineer, file, contractor, etc. This means this is RE, resident engineer writes to contractors. Now next is site memorandum. This was site memo from RE, resident engineer. Now I'm saying site memorandum, a letter written to contractor on site by resident engineer on any matter regarding contract job execution for actions records with reference number and date of. Now project is project, resident engineer office, site memo, job number, message contractor and date. Program building XA. Dear sir, program in form of bar chart. Submitted date is approved in principle with minor comments made on copy of program enclosed. Please ensure incorporation of those comments and issue 3 copies for our use. Signatures of resident engineer and copy to engineer owner file. This is informative. Now, on a considerable size project or big project, you may say, agent may receive hundreds of site memos in a year or half and shall have to make 100 replies. Agent shall receive inside memos on various issues like material submittals, shop drawing submittals, execution problems on site, warning instructions on contract, and many other controlling and miscellaneous force factors. Agent shall have to go through all these memos very carefully and reply in accordance to requirements and facts on contract, and delay on reply may cost a lot to contractors. Site instructions. What is site instruction? I would say these are instructions serially numbered in form of letter shown below. I'll show you, intimating intention of engineer and owner to delete or deviate or add or alter or some other change to instructed in execution of job involving variation or no variation on contract. Again I repeat, instructions serially numbered in form of letters shown below. I'll show you this format, intimating intention of engineer and owner to delete or deviate or add or to alter or some other change to instructed in execution of job involving variation or no variation on contract. Main point is that it is issued by resident engineer in consultation or verbal approval of engineer, since real instruction, that is engineer's instruction, takes time to be formally issued. In site instruction, a note shall be added by resident engineer regarding constitution of financial variation on account of instruction as shown in instruction pro forma below. This is that. I show you this pro forma. I read it out just for information. Okay. Resident engineer or consultant. Site instruction number this, date this. Messrs contractor. Subject, building number, contract reference number. Yes, sir. Carry out following items as given below, then description item. And after that, signature of resident engineer. And there's a note. Because this is site instruction, should contractor consider a cost variation as extras, a variation order be submitted, and approval or affirmative response be obtained from engineer before executing or carrying out work, or otherwise it shall be assumed that there is no variation, and contract price shall be paid only. It's question of lump sum contracts. Copy for circulation to engineer owner file. It's in interest of contractor to advise engineer or resident engineer that variations are involved. In site instruction number dated this, details of variation involved shall be submitted as and when ready, and seek further confirmation whether or not instruction be carried out. Contractor should commence in executing only on obtaining confirmatory letters in form of letter or telex or mail or whatever other form accepted for communication. This was for site instructions. We come to another one, that is engineer's instruction. Engineer's instruction. Factually, process provisionally, let's see again. Factually, process provisionally operates by issue of site instruction. But contractually, only engineer's instruction is treated valid, legal, for purpose of claims as variations. But problem is that practically engineer's instruction takes months. I don't know now, maybe it's not doesn't take months because the question of budget. Months to be issued due to engineer's office being always busy. Therefore, for efficient execution of works, site instruction site instructions precede engineer's instruction. No variation can be approved based on site instruction, but only based on engineer's instruction. Many site instructions may be combined in one engineer's instruction. Maybe many site instructions are combined in one engineer's instruction. Oh, my old book, statics. These instructions are issued in same pro forma language as site instruction, except note of information about constitution of variation before execution of instructions. These instructions are posted to contractor directly from engineer's office and not from resident engineer's office. Valuations. Now, what is valuation? So, engineer instruction and site instruction difference. Site instruction cannot pay you. Engineer's instruction is kind of additional contract if it constitutes variation. It's a contract for negation or for addition, both. So that is legal, a kind of extension of contract payment agreed. Valuations. Valuations are prepared for claims of monthly work done by contractors. Valuations are prepared for passing works done by subcontractors monthly. Major type of valuations and usually prepared worked out by quantity engineer, quantity surveyor who visits site monthly or whatever frequency is agreed, or sometimes on a big site remains based on site and notes percentages of works carried out in reference to control contract bill of quantities. In case a lump sum itemized contracts in consultation with site agent, site engineers, or collect bills of measurements taken in contract of schedule of rate type. Generally, itemized lump sum contract system is adopted in many countries and it is easy to operate at detailed levels. Easiest way is to summarize all bills of quantities separately into a few heads and quantities separately into few heads, and quantities and cost are entered. For example, a simple has been given. I'll show you. All bill of quantities are added and costs computed. Then a list of material on site account is prepared and amount added to cost. Announcement on any amount account per contract condition or documents, if any, of some, shall be added to computed sum. Payment and retention monies in respect of last valuation and these valuations are adjusted respectively as deductions. Net valuation shall then be agreed by both quantity engineers of resident engineer and contractors, signed by resident engineer as a recommendation for valuation payment to engineer, who shall dispose same to employer owner, having been satisfied himself for contents signed by regional engineer in form of certificate as a request for payments. Generally, in this type, quantities are not considered up to 2 places of decimals. but little approximation is done. So this is not very complicated one, and simple it is. You can see like that. For example, it's simple means nothing very difficult. It is. It's very simple. This is performer because the columns are these item, unit, and BOQ, and this all that means you can go that. It's no big deal. Then we go to add other BOQs followed in cumulations and cost of works carried out while valuation to subcontractor means that's also same means no big difference. It's just same thing. Just let us read it. Generally, subcontractors submit their claims of works executed monthly to main contractor. And on basis of these claims, main contractor may include percentages of disciplines carried out and reach amount of valuation. Payment to subcontractors shall be made on basis of subcontract and not on main contract, as amount of work items may differ in two. Sometimes what happens that contractor shall have to pay more to subcontractor than what is received from engineer and owner for those items due to some adjustments made in tender, while in some cases this may be reversed. In some cases, contractor make same amount of payment to subcontractor. A general condition may be included in subcontract that payment to subcontractor shall be made only after receipt of concerned's valuation money from owner and in a period of a minimum of 7 days or any other specified period of receipt at convenience of two parties. In case main contractor is delayed for being paid for long, all related parties shall have to suffer due to that. Valuation to minor subcontractors. Generally, agent, main subcontractor enters or sublets itemized jobs to different trades persons working on same site or outsiders as a minor subcontract. For example, plasterer, tiler, formwork shutters, steel fabrication and placement in slabs or columns, roofs, etc. All depending on convenience of main contractors or site agent or site engineers. Measurements of all such minor contracts. Measurements of all such minor contracts are certified by site engineers and passed by site agent for purpose of valuation to be prepared by quantity engineers, who shall finalize everything in that connection, and contracts manager shall make payment order on that. In some cases, when trades persons are already on contractor's roll and draw wages, amount drawn shall be deducted from valuation. Same principle applies to supplies made to site by suppliers for whom site agent shall certify receipt of quantities in good conditions per supply contract and payment be released. In case there is some damage or short supply in consignment, site agent shall immediately inform office manager as well as contracts manager so that necessary action for claims on agency in insurance and party in supply be raised in time. Reflected ceiling plans. What we have discussing so far was superficial management, administration, technical management, technicalities. These are all alien to our working system here in my beautiful country. People are not serious here, but we have to be serious. We are spending money for years to come. So we have to be serious. For that, we have to consider minute details. And purpose of engineer is that. Purpose of engineer is that to understand everything And if engineers do not understand that, how can you become an engineer forever? Reflective ceiling plan (RCPs). These are necessary in building where services running in ceiling are to be concealed. Services may be air conditioning, electrical supplies, plumbing, drainage, and many other services. Coordinated drawings of all services to be accommodated in a space between suspended or false ceiling and soffit of suspended slab is generally called annular space, and ceiling tiles of modular sizes be geometrically patternized. Hence, to prepare these drawings, working drawings, contractor and agent has to see have to see that light luminaries, conditioned air supply grills and diffusers, splitters and return grills, etc., all are fixed in tiles superficially in a symmetric pattern to satisfaction of resident engineer and owner, electrical engineer, air conditioning engineer, architectural engineer. Preferably, modular size of tiles should match sizes of luminaries and other elements to fit in ceilings. These drawings shall be prepared to scale. Means scale is not important, you can take any pronoun, but in those times it was 120. For clear depiction of all items, and every point should be intelligently decided. Quantity of conditioned air and intensity of spread and intensity of illumination, etc., should conform to specified design data as included in detailed specification of contract, and system design be by specialist. Should subcut tiles are required, that may be provided in periphery of rooms. Symmetry should be provided all round ceiling wherever possible, but in major areas of different geometrical patterns, say a foyer of a building or irregular shape where many ceiling bulkheads shall be installed for sky lights, symmetry may be broken. These drawings are very significant as would affect routine of air conditioning, direct air conditioning duct supplies, and make mechanical engineer difficult going, and that shall cry in case rerouting or re-elevationing is required for adjustments in case finalization of these drawings are delayed. An experienced man only should be entrusted this activity under supervision of agent. After drawings are approved by resident engineer, copies must be provided to all concerned people: electrical, engineering, plumbing, false ceiling, site engineers, resident engineers, and staff for site use. There may be many types of ceiling tiles, for example, metal ceiling, mineral fiber ceiling, needle structure, or plain structure, perforated tiles, which cellular structures. Perforated tiles need a black paper to be placed in ceiling concealed to hide surface of slab above from ice. This was reflected ceiling plans, many cuts and outs images. Actually, what happens when you enter a room, architectural management is like that. Means when you enter a room, for example, when you enter a room, your eyes goes to next end of that room. That should be full tile, for example. Other one, that should be full tile. Row they go behind your head when you enter a room. It should be that one can be cut tile. And you say from center, you should move this way or that way. to avoid cut tiles. If you cannot move this, then you should start from this side. And all your lights should be centrally located. All your AC diffusers must be according to architectural appearance, which should feel your aesthetics, internal aesthetics and decoration. It should be symmetrical view. Cut pieces should be behind when you come out of room. At that time, you will not see that. If it's a big area, you have to manage accordingly. Many observations you have to see, size of tile, size of fittings, and your smoke detectors, where these have to come. Many criteria are required to be considered into your formation of that location. You have to work on drawings, long hours, and to see how it works. This way it is done. For every room it is done, and it takes time. You have to coordinate with all services, all electrical, plumbing, AC, and whatever else, civil defense, you can say. So we move further on this. Record drawings, as-built drawings. Execution based on working drawings and shop drawings shall many times be deviated due to practical or real coordination on site. In that case, rerouting of approved infrastructural pipes in network or AC supply and return air ducts or deviation in conduits shall all be accepted by resident engineer and services engineers if technically found correct, rerouting or aberrations. Similarly, in building works, due to number of constraints on site, changes be made architecturally or structurally depending upon merits of on-spot problems. All those real changes done in respective disciplines on job must be recorded in drawings for permanent use of user, consumer, you can say. Drawings incorporating such records are signed by contractor's agent and approved by resident engineer and engineer. Be called the record drawings, shall be called record drawings or as-built drawings in language of contract and forms part of contract, and contractors shall be bound to produce these drawings, without which practical completion cannot be granted by engineer to contractor. These drawings inform future user about maintenance of works to be done for user, about way building has been done and where shall main responsible be maintained, where shall man responsible for responsible to maintain, find and required information from. It's better that alterations applied on site are side by side recorded to avoid unpleasant burden of record pools to be incorporated in one go. At end by time, engineers or agent or consultants may have forgotten changes and refer back to approval records to make entries transferred to drawings one by one. For recording of changes, agent shall go through to site instructions, site memos, engineer's instructions, any other or some other records if required, and this exercise, if done by any agent or site engineer in case of old being transferred or left, organization shall prove to be a monotonous and unproductive, mountainous job and exposed to many misrecordings it's also advisable. Should contractor manage to get negatives of drawings from engineer or by request and take out of his own prints to expedite work, but that shall depend upon trust contractor enjoys from engineer. Contractor should not feel that staff engaged on production of these drawings is wastage in duration of job and later regret when due to absence of these drawings handling handing over is made a problem by engineer as record drawings alone forms a very important activity in contract. Record drawing. This is very important topic. Maybe we people do not understand as far as we are concerned. I'm sure I have seen work is going on here in my city. Excavating, this is very simple work, rainwater, soil, or you can say drain of simple dimension. They're excavating all, they're just breaking whatever is coming its way, whatever pipe is coming, whatever cable is coming, whatever is coming. They just excavate without knowing what's then break it and make it again. What do you call it? There is no system, no drawing is available, nothing is available that can tell you, take care. What happens on projects where we do at international level or in a standard level where services do exist below ground? What you do? Can you excavate blindly? May water services there, sewer services there, gas service may be there. There must be recordable services. Those recorded men advise you, take care here, don't excavate here. That record is not available. That record is available only in authorities. And if you go to authorities, you may not get that also. When you construct a building and you leave that, suppose there is a requirement, some problem in 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, how shall you know? There's no drawing. What you did, design drawing may also not be available. So how shall you know where is problem? Just to keep that ever green, that design of building and constructed building, we record all those drawings as recorded drawings or as-built drawings. This is design drawing and this is what we build. All changes made available are recorded in red lines, approved, and then these are transferred to permanent drawings or record drawings. That's called as-built drawings. It should not be for buildings, for all structures, even infrastructure work, it should be there. Yes, I know it takes time to record that, and you need money, you need engineers work on that, but that is required for purpose of maintenance. And if you cannot do that, I think we do not do justice to our profession, and that is what record drawing is all about. Means you just break services without caring and let everything spoil. You know what happens in big projects. Refineries are running, for example, a plant is running, big plant, electric services there, infrastructure services there, water services there, pressure water is there, sea water is there. You break it, can you? And stop plant? That's not possible. Same thing, you break it, oh, I'll fit it again. That's not an answer. There are certain countries where rules, if you break services, you are in jail and then you have to pay heavy penalty. For that purpose, record drawing is very important. As built it is called, or record it is called. Every drawing should say here is service or no service. If there is any structural change, it should be recorded on drawing. It should be services change, should also be recorded drawing, and recorded drawing must be formally authorized, authentic drawing document, and that must be available with that company or operator who is operating that plant. And also, if it's for buildings, it should be with drawings, with means where municipal corporations or some other authorities, services of government departments or some other, means somewhere it should be available. to know what's passing beneath, utilities or otherwise. That is very important. Sometimes even manholes are not known where manholes are. Means either they are too high above ground, people make accidents, or these are too below. So in our country, culture doesn't exist. I don't mind that because people do not have any seriousness, but it costs something. It costs very well. So just I mean to say, we have to understand profession. If you don't understand profession, you are not professional. Then I have to move further down to say request for inspection. We will discuss this later on also many other details because when I wrote this book, it was very because I started this book in 92, say in 92, and in those days there was nothing. 92, 93, 94, 95, and I was very upset that time. Means for everything you have to check, you do, and write more and more, and then work. In 96, it was published because there were so many sketches in that, about 150 sketches, and those were not matching their template. So he had to accept it, photographs and all that. So it was like very rubbish project for me, but I did it. I know this book was not received, no problem. I'm not concerned whether it's sold or not sold because textbooks are sold actually. If you write something to be sold, you cannot sell it, no problem. But information is available, that is important. Whatever learned by practical experience, I tried to write that because I was not guided by anyone in field when I started my career. Nobody was there to tell what to do. You have to learn yourself. Because if somebody knows also, that I won't tell you. Means our rubbish thought culture. So you have to learn yourself. If I had stayed in this country, I would have done nothing. Nothing means you could not learn anything. But important thing in engineering is technical work. Talk, everybody talks, all talk. I will do this, I will do that. Everybody does nothing, somebody does nothing. Well, I'm saying is, if you are not beaten, you do not learn. Very simple. If somebody beats you, you learn. And here, nobody beats you. You can't be beaten, and you are not learning because nobody tell you what to do, what to learn, how to do it. There is no method statement. There is no direction, no books, nothing. Come out of university, have theoretical knowledge. You know bending moment, you know motor distance, but you don't know what to do and how to do in the field. There's very good designer, you design, but you spoil on construction. Nobody knows what they are doing. They are doing according. But this is done. That's why I'm doing. That's the, no explanation, no answer. You have to accept that because you cannot change system, and nobody is interested to change anything here. Chalna hai, chalta hai, it's all going, no problem. I feel sometimes I should beat someone who's working here. They are working in a way I'll feel very angry. But nobody listens. They will teach you rather that you are fool. Just an example. I was doing my construction, my house. It was in, I can say, 2008. I went to some steel fixer. First of all, I went to buy steel material. I have to excavate my basement also. I got one man, a labor contractor. I showed my drawings. This way I want to work. I'm not used to work like this. Okay, I will teach you how to work. No problem. I'll charge extra for this. Okay, no problem. I'll pay you. I wanted to use framing of building with beam frame foundation, not isolated footings. I inserted my own design, my own research. I designed a kind of stool in foundation so that it acts as a damper to seismic action. It was a spreader, then beam. There's no footing. I told him no problem. I have to do this. Tell me rate. And I added wall also, RCC wall in basement. I paid extra for beams. I paid extra for walls. Okay, this is your work, you will pay. But I want this way. I did myself all. Then I had to buy steel. I went to vendor. How can you give this? He said, no, we'll send you by truck. I said, no, I don't do by truck. Truck means these bars which are standard length, they bend it and send to you. Now, common sense says, how can you bend a bar before using that? Is it sensible? You get 20 mm bar, 16 mm bar, to bend it half, reduce the length, then put in truck and bring and throw on there. Does it mean engineering? Is this engineering? You are bringing bent bar and then you are strengthening this and again doing that. So you are using used bar. You are going to include in permanent work used bar. As an engineer, can you expect that? Can you receive it? You cannot. But it is happening because they don't understand technology. They don't understand what they are losing. First of all, you cannot guarantee what steel is available. It is recycled or something, and who's going to test that? You will see catalog and everything will be very fine. Everything is okay, but who knows? I don't see, nobody tests here. So I asked that vendor, I want straight bars. My site is accessible. There is no problem. It is not a street where you cannot take in. He charged me extra for trailer. I said, no problem. I'll pay you extra. I got that steel. I talked to someone steel fixer. Can you fabricate it? Yes, I'll do this for you. This is charge. How shall you protect it from moisture or rain? He was laughing. He was laughing. I said, I want protection. I don't want water to touch it. That's it. Can you do it? He says, I don't know. It's not done. You have to cover it with plastic. Can you do it? He was laughing. It's not done. Nobody does it. Okay, nobody does it, but I want to do it. I'll bring you plastic. Can you cover it? He did not agree. I said, let cost. I don't like the job. Go. I'll do myself. And then I talked to someone else. I fabricated myself on site in my presence. I purchased plastic. I used that on work done as well as on stored material. Means you have to spend few hundred rupees or 1,000 rupees on. I was using 22 tons of steel. Lakhs of rupees you have to spend on your material, and you cannot spend thousands. You are leaving this steel to rust because of humidity as well as because of rain. You are not interested in protecting your steel. You are allowing, you can say, damage to steel. If it is rusted, means it's no use. It's not going to work. It will further rust. Means you are going to reduce life of your very expensive material. But people do not understand this. I have seen, you can see metro, they are not caring. You can see this smart city company, they are all red steel, you see everywhere, complete rusted, nobody bothers. And if you do not do that, if you cannot do that, then get epoxy coated steel, spend money on that. If you are not interested to protect your very important durable material that shall make life of your concrete for it, you are ready to waste that material. If it is wasted, concrete goes zero, because if there is no bond, steel oxide, it will get more oxides. Rust is not epoxy. Get epoxy coated material and use that. But who can teach in this country? No one can teach. No one is ready to learn. You cannot teach anyone. This is the law of this land. Quality got no meaning here. Safety got no meaning here. You can't help it. Engineers are useless, I am openly saying. Engineers are not engineers. They are only followers. They are not thinkers. They cannot dictate contractor. They cannot dictate honor. Engineers should be doctors, but they are not doctors. Nobody argues with doctors, but people can argue with engineers. You do like this, they say. So engineers are slaves. If engineers are slaves, whole nation is slaves, because you are going to change forest into city. Who will change? You will change, but you cannot change. I talked to an engineer head who is having 25 years experience. He talked to me one day on phone. He said, I know you, you are this relative and that relative. Okay, fine, what do you want to say? Tell me. I am working here. I passed in this year. I knew through someone that you are our relative. I talked to him. Okay, talk. He was talking. He was talking how you do concrete. I asked him one question. Do you know what temperature concrete should have? You are surprised what I'm asking. What are you asking? Tell me temperature of concrete. I don't know. You are having 25 years of experience. You do not know this. What sort of experience you have? Why did you do engineering if you cannot do this? If you can't comply with these rules and regulations, specifications, why did you go to your college and university to get degree in engineering? Forget that. If you want to do if you have to tell builder or promoter, you have to follow that instruction to follow architect, then better not to do engineering. Just act as a layman on site, so that layman has to do same thing you are doing. What's the difference? Your engineering is the abuse. It's a curse. Don't use the engineering. Don't say you are an engineer because you are not an engineer. You cannot understand ABCD of engineering. You are saying I have 25 years experience. I was feeling very upset with the guy. He then explained so many things. I did this. He said nobody is interested in curing. He told me that there was a high rise and this owner came and said, why are you using this steel, Darya? You reduce 8 mm, put the 8 mm 12. What sort of people are these? An architect, he talked to architect, no problem, but owner says you do it. I should kill such people, believe me. These people are different type of terrorists. Such people who listens to submits to everybody. You can use that. I tell you, top story. Bending moment is more than ground story. Do you understand this? Wind force is more than that. Seismic leads to top story. Do you understand that? What did you study in engineering? He says, I know that. But you're not doing that. What do you do? Tell me. Is this profession? I think it's not at all a profession. It just exists. Your certificate is only for market value, that you have to marry a good top girl. That's all, nothing else. And you have to take bribe if you are in government. That is what engineering profession is. And shame on to engineering community here. You are not learning anything. You are not interested to learn anything. You are not interested in safety. You are not interested in quality. You are not interested in research. You are not interested in operational research. You are not interested in anything. Just you are engineer for namesake, for seminars, for conferences, for all this and nothing. And these IITs, they write only research papers for nothing. No, who bothers about that research? If your research is not reaching to worker down, your research got no meaning. It's all drama. Nothing else. You just want authorship of that so that you are getting promotion. You are getting name on list of institutional engineers that so many papers he has issued. That's all. Nothing else. Regret to say that. We are only for our tags, not for providing service to people. Engineer means to be a teacher, just like doctor is a teacher. Your technology must reach to user, but it is not using. It's not reaching. See how they put concrete and go away. They are taking lunch for 2 hours. Concrete is lying there. Wet concrete is lying there. They're coming and mixing more water in that and using. Same thing happens to mortar. So how can you help whole nation? You cannot help, I'm sorry to say. Well, it's already 3 hours. I'll close it today. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'll continue later. Sometimes I feel very angry, but I can't help it. Because it's question of material, question of money, and question of standard, question of everything. After we are damaging ourselves, we should avoid it. That's what I say.